Studio 31.
On KITV4 Island News Midday, as the surge of Omicron cases continue in Hawaii, some are worried that schools are not reporting positive case counts. And the shortage of at-home COVID test kits is leaving the door wide open for scammers. How to make sure you aren't a victim. Also, health experts agree masking is one of the keys to preventing the spread of the coronavirus, but which masks do a better job? We have the results of a new study. KITV4 Island News Midday starts now.
Now, covering all of Hawaii, this is KITV4 Island News Midday.
Thanks for tuning in to KITV4 Island News Midday. I'm Lia Kamana. Le'ui Kolokula has the day off. We begin with a look at the state's fight against COVID-19. The Department of Health reporting 3,099 new coronavirus infections today. That's 2,564 on Oahu, 322 on Maui, 97 on Hawaii Island, 31 on Kauai, and 14 on Molokai. 71 people were diagnosed out of state. There are now nearly 45,000 active cases in Hawaii. The DOH reporting 3 more people with the virus have died. Now the death toll has risen to 1,117. And here's a look at today's COVID-19 positivity rate by county. Maui County still the highest at 22%. Oahu follows at nearly 21%. Hawaii Island just over 18%, and Kauai 17.9%. Now the statewide for the average test positivity is 19.9%. Vaccination numbers continue to go up in the islands, with 80.1% of the eligible population now vaccinated. 4,600 people got a dose of vaccine on Thursday, with more than 2.63 million total vaccines administered. 418,000 of those third doses. The DOH estimates there are more than 353,000 people that are not fully vaccinated. More than 5,400 vaccines were given to people that don't live in Hawaii. Now, there are concerns about some Hawaii public schools not promptly reporting their COVID-19 cases. Schools are required to publish weekly reports when a student, staff member, or other people on campus test positive for COVID-19. And after the schools provide the Department of Health with the number of COVID cases for the day, DOH sends the report to the Department of Education so it can update its dashboard with a one-day lag. But some schools like Hahaione Elementary on Oahu and Kilohana Elementary on Molokai have not updated their data since August 18th of last year. Now, the president of the Hawaii State Teachers Association understands schools have staffing shortages, but says DOE leaders should be more hands-on.
The department should have been following up with these schools. Hey, why isn't your data being updated? What needs to be, how can we help you update the data to make sure that we're complying with the law?
COVID case data is now up to date for 228 of the 257 schools. A DOE spokesperson says administrators will follow up with schools to discuss possible solutions to streamline the process and alleviate the backlog. As of this morning, there are 352 people currently hospitalized with COVID-19. That's according to Lieutenant Governor Josh Green. About 40% of the people hospitalized with COVID-19 have gotten their vaccine. 37 people with COVID are currently in the ICU. And according to the Lieutenant Governor, none of those ICU patients has received a booster shot. With a nationwide shortage of at-home COVID test kits, the Biden administration is now doubling down on its promise to make them more widely available. According to President Biden, the promise for 500 million COVID test kits to be distributed has been upped to 1 billion test kits. But this comes as the Federal Trade Commission warned consumers earlier this month to beware of fake at-home test kits. KITV4's Jeremy Lee explains how online scammers could not only rip you off, but get in the way of your effort to determine if you are COVID-free.
Out of stock. It's common to run into signs like these at your local pharmacy or anywhere else you may have been looking for at-home COVID tests, even online. But according to both the Federal Trade Commission and Hawaii's Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, don't get desperate for a deal that's too good to be true.
It's a perfect storm right now. You have a scarcity of testing. Scammers are going to take advantage of this situation.
In other words, according to Stephen Levins of DCCA, it's not the best time to branch off to an unknown business or an untrusted website.
The first thing you should do is just Google that name. to see if anyone else has been scammed by them. Second thing you should do is make sure that they're selling actual FDA-approved devices.
Where you buy your tests and what brand are just as important as how you make the purchase.
The third thing you should do is purchase it using a credit card. If you pay by credit card, you have protections.
Protections like asking for a chargeback or a refund, which are much more difficult using a debit card. Price gouging can also be an issue. Reporting violations to the DCCA or Better Business Bureau is encouraged.
If it is a legitimate business, then you file a complaint. If you think this is not a legitimate business and it's a scam, then you actually go to the scam tracker. So you can go in there and look at Hawaii. You can actually see what is being reported by island. We really ask people to report it because that is our best way to get that information out.
Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.
The first 500 million tests from the government are set to be distributed by the Department of Health and Human Services over the next 60 days. Details on a website to request tests from that allotment are expected to be unveiled today. Now, both the public as well as lawmakers demanding answers right now from the White House on testing and masking. And this comes as COVID-19 infections and hospitalizations continue to surge across the country, forcing some hospitals to stop non-urgent procedures to deal with the influx of patients. But as Chris Nguyen reports, some relief is expected to reach many Americans as early as tomorrow.
As COVID-19 continues to surge across parts of the country, many are struggling to get tested. The Biden administration now facing intense scrutiny about its pandemic response.
Our hospitals are still under great pressure right now.
In a letter to the White House, a group of Senate Democrats are asking why the administration failed to take more significant steps earlier to increase access to at-home tests, saying the measures have been reactive rather than proactive. Some health experts also echoing those concerns.
I don't think at the outset they understood how recalcitrant almost a quarter of the population of this country would be to getting vaccinated.
Starting Saturday, most people with private health insurance can buy at-home tests online or over the counter, then get reimbursed for the cost. The Biden administration says the uninsured will soon be able to order free tests online. The U.S. is now averaging more than 786,000 cases each day, according to data from Johns Hopkins University.
What most folks don't realize is that the amount of virus that you're initially exposed to is directly correlated to how sick you get.
More details about the president's plan to provide free, high-quality masks to all Americans are expected next week.
It prevents not only you from spreading the virus, but also prevents you from becoming infected from Omicron.
The U.S. now reporting more than twice as many new cases daily compared to new vaccinations. In Washington, I'm Chris Nguyen.
A live look outside now. It's beautiful and sunny. KITV4's Davey D standing by us. Davey, can we expect this weather to stick around for a little bit?
Absolutely, yes, especially, and that's good news, especially heading into the Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. Right now we got mostly clear skies overall, some patches of clouds over on the windward side as well. 78 degrees outside here in Honolulu with those lighter winds out of the south-southeast at 10 miles per hour. Now, when we get those lighter winds, that allows for some afternoon clouds to develop, and then we'll get some showers mainly for the interior and Mocha sections. So that's what we'll get there for the rest of today. Tonight, some isolated showers, partly cloudy, 81 degrees. Over the weekend, that's what you're asking about, Leah. Take a look. We'll get those same conditions to hang around for Saturday and Sunday with our daytime high averaging in the lower 80s. Now, as we head into the holiday on Monday, we'll see those light winds continue, but another dissipating front or a system will be making its way towards the island, so we may get some more shower activity and some more clouds as we head into the beginning part of next week. Coming up, we'll take a look at surf. For now, we'll send it back to you, Leah.
Mahalo, Davey. Honolulu police are investigating a suspicious death after they found a body at a business in Waipahu. Honolulu Crime Stoppers has confirmed the victim is John Tokuhara. Honolulu police found Tokuhara with a gunshot wound Thursday morning at a business called Tokuhara Acupuncture. That's on Waipahu Depot Street. Crime Stoppers and Honolulu police are asking for the public's help on locating witnesses and identifying potential suspects. Tokuhara was found dead at 8 a.m. Thursday. A Lanikai home destroyed after a fire early this morning. It happened around 2 near Mokulua Drive and Kaiolena Drive. The Honolulu Fire Department report indicates the home was under construction. HFD reporting the home was fully engulfed. There were no occupants at home at the time of the incident. No reported injuries. The fire is under investigation. Now, all of the restaurants at the Moanalua Shopping Center are now being asked to stop using the tap water. That's because the Department of Health verified the center's water is supplied by the Navy's water system. If restaurants are still using the water, the facility will be shut down until businesses can obtain a safe water supply. The center is still waiting on test water results to confirm whether its taps are contaminated. As of this morning, the Navy has completed all water system flushing and is now focused on flushing homes and facilities. In the Red Hill community, all homes have been flushed. They are now working to flush the Red Hill school system. The Navy's personnel claims unit is now accepting personal property damage claims.
Both our service members and our civilians, if they have personal property items that have been irreparably damaged due to this water contact, that they have a way that and access to funds to help them out.
Now, the Navy asks anyone who files a claim to make sure your contact information is up to date. That will help the claims department communicate effectively throughout the process. On Molokai, a boil water notice was issued. Maui County's Department of Water Supply asks residents in the Kalai system to boil their water before use due to E. coli contamination. The county reports the source of the contaminated water from the Department of Hawaiian Homeland's wells. The advisory will be lifted once water samples show no traces of E. coli. On Kauai, recovery efforts continue as large boulders continue to fall on Menehune Road. Still ahead on KITV4 Island News Midday, the work that has been done so far and a look at the community support teams that have developed since.
This segment of KITV4 Island News is sponsored by Spectrum. KITV4 Island News, sponsored by Homeworld Furniture. This is KITV4 Island News Midday.
Rockfall recovery efforts continue on Kauai today. It has now been 10 days since the initial rock slide on Menehune Road, isolating dozens of families in the Waimea community. Now, the Kauai Emergency Management Agency reporting large loose boulders continue to fall. This comes as slope stabilization efforts above the Waimea Swinging Bridge continue. Crews are currently working to install a fence to protect the bridge from rocks released during the ongoing scaling work. Meanwhile, community efforts to provide assistance to the nearly 40 families stranded on the other side of the slide continue. Only accessible by UTV, volunteer groups have been crossing the river to deliver food packages and conduct wellness checks to those who are on the other side. The next distribution is scheduled for later today.
At this point, we're just trying to make sure that, no one goes hungry, and everybody has some basic needs. We're concentrating on food, but we're also saying, hey, what else might you need to survive in terms of, do you need some batteries? Do you need some laundry detergent? That kind of thing.
Community leaders say Neighbor Island residents can contribute to the recovery efforts by donating to the Kauai County Emergency Fund or directly to the Hawaii Food Bank. The county expects construction and stabilization efforts to continue for at least the next 3 weeks. They say plans for food distributions as well as wellness checks will continue and adapt as the situation develops and eventually resolves. Also on Kauai, starting today, the Kekaha landfill system will be closed for residential trash and green waste. The landfill is having issues with its scaling system. The landfill will remain closed until further notice. Officials advise the public to use the Hanapepe transfer station. Hawaii is set to receive more than $330 million to address Hawaii bridge needs. The U.S. Department of Transportation today launching the historic bridge replacement, rehabilitation, preservation, protection, and construction program. It's also known as the Bridge Formula Program. The program provides $26.5 billion to states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico, and it provides $825 million for tribal transportation facilities. Hawaii will receive $339 million. The DOT reports the funding will help improve the condition of about 84 bridges in poor condition and to preserve and improve more than 800 bridges in the state. There's a push to bring a new monument to Washington, D.C. But who the monument is honoring is what makes this one unique, the push at the Capitol to honor the brave service and working animals. That story and more still to come on KITV4 Island News Midday.
Rick Kwan and Mika Miyashima have what you need to know. The latest updates, changes, and developments on COVID-19, plus news as it happens across the islands. Tune in weeknights at 5 and 6 p.m. to KITV4 Island News, what you need to know. The mission of KITV4 Island News is simple. Uncover the facts, reveal the truth, listen to all the voices in our community, tell your stories, and provide all of Hawaii with important information that makes a difference. This is KITV4 Island News Midday.
A live look outside right now. The waves on the South Shore, pretty manini, but over on the North Shore, it's a little bigger than that, right, Davey? What's our forecast looking like?
Oh, definitely huge up on the North Shore, and we got 1 to 3 footers over on the south-facing shores. We also got a high surf advisory, or let me just start with the small craft advisory first, surrounding Kauai and most Hawaiian waters all the way to Maui. We got that high surf advisory in effect for north and west-facing shores. Everybody except for the Big Island, things are pretty calm on that side. 15 to 20 up north, 10 to 15 over on the west side, and as I said earlier, less than 3 feet for the south and east facing shores. Now we are expecting another moderate bump over the weekend, late Saturday into Sunday, that may keep our wave heights elevated as we head into the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Now let's take a look at our live cameras again. Back to the Ala Moana cam, looking gorgeous outside. Lots of cloud coverage over on the windward side of the Big Island in Hilo Bay, but some stable clouds right now, not too much rain activity happening around the state. If we do just those hit or miss showers, but we will get the cloud coverage as we take a look at our cloud and rain forecast. You can see all across the island chain those a mix of low and high clouds. So if there's a lot of high clouds, we may get a beautiful sunset this evening. And as we head through the weekend, again, those clouds will linger. And in the afternoon, we may get some shower activity, especially around the Mocha and central spots. So a heads up on that. Again, variable winds to stick around for the weekend into the Monday holiday. Leah?
Mahalo, Davey. Service animals, they've helped people in different ways, including emotional or physical assistance, search and rescue. They even helped us in World Wars I and II. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports there's a push in our nation's capital right now to honor these animals for their service.
When you think of Washington, D.C., you might think of the standout places like the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And now there's a push to bring a new monument to D.C., which would honor service and working animals.
Creating a park-like setting with several clusters of animals. Everything from horses to dogs to birds to marine life, all the various animals that serve us in this world.
Teresa Brandon with the National Service Animal Monument Corporation says throughout history, animals have helped people in many ways, like farming and during wartime.
People who have horses, they use them in a working scenario like in law enforcement or like in therapy. Dolphins and sea lions work with the U.S. Navy. Birds, back in the World War I and II, canaries trying to detect gas elements, or the homing pigeons, unfortunately, were critical in carrying messages before we had a lot of electronic radio equipment.
Including search and rescue dogs who helped in the 9/11 attack and the OKC bombing, law enforcement animals, and of course, the animals that help people with emotional or physical disabilities.
Without the assistance of these animals, our lives would be so much more tough.
A bipartisan bill was recently introduced that supports this project, but where it would be put in D.C. is still undecided. But for Brandon, she's optimistic their vision to honor these animals will soon become a reality.
Cannot say thank you enough to these animals.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
Kamana and military personnel are getting free admission to the Battleship Missouri Memorial this month. It's in celebration of the USS Missouri's launch and its preservation as a living educational and historical monument. Now, this is happening on the 29th of January from 8 in the morning until 4 in the evening. You have to be vaccinated or test negative for the virus to get in. You also have to have your Hawaii or military ID to get in for free. Otherwise, you have to pay $34 for adults or $17 for children. You're watching KITV4 Island News Midday. As we head into break, a live look over Hilo Bay on the Big Island. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning sponsored by Aloha Termite and Pest Control, leading the pest control industry through experience and aloha.
Get the news you want when you want it. Visit KITV.com for what you need to know.
Here's a look at the headlines you need to know. The Department of Health is reporting 3,099 new coronavirus infections today. Breaking down by island, that's 2,564 on Oahu, 322 on Maui, 97 on the Big Island, 31 on Kauai, and 14 on Molokai. 71 people were diagnosed out of state. There are now nearly 45,000 active cases in Hawaii. The DOH reporting 3 more people with the virus have died. Now the death toll has risen to 1,117. It has now been 10 days since the initial rock slide on Menehune Road isolated dozens of families in the Waimea community. The Kauai Emergency Management Agency reporting large loose boulders continue to fall as slope stabilization efforts above the Waimea Swinging Bridge continue. Crews are working to install a fence to protect the bridge from the rocks being released during this ongoing scaling work. Also, community efforts to provide assistance to the nearly 40 families stranded on the other side of the slide continue. Only accessible by UTV volunteer groups have been crossing the river to deliver food packages and conduct well on the other side. The next distribution today. And Honolulu police are investigating a suspicious death after they found a body at a business in Waipahu. Honolulu Crime Stoppers has confirmed the victim as John Tokuhara. Honolulu police found Tokuhara with a gunshot wound Thursday morning at a business called Tokuhara Acupuncture. That's on Waipahu Depot Street. Crime Stoppers and Honolulu police are asking for the public's help on locating witnesses and identifying potential suspects. Davey?
For today, just a reminder, we have that high surf advisory in effect for our north and west facing shores for most Hawaiian waters. We got 15 to 20 footers up north, 10 to 15 over on the west side. And a reminder, another moderate swell to move in over the weekend to keep our wave heights elevated up on the north and west facing shores. Less than 3 feet over on the south and east facing shores. And a peek into the weekend, we'll have partly cloudy with some light, 81, 82 degrees. Leah?
Mahalo, Davey. Calling all Warriors football fanatics. The University of Hawaii will be hosting walk-on tryouts this upcoming Wednesday. Now, all registered university students are eligible to come and prove they have what it takes to join the program. Hopefuls will perform a number of strength, conditioning, and skills tests. Warrior Football Administration hoping to provide the opportunity of being a Division I athlete to those who may have been overlooked in the recruiting process.
COVID-19 since 2020, there's been a lot of guys that didn't even get a senior year of in high school here, so they may have missed out on the opportunity to get recruited, so they just decided to go to school here. So this is their opportunity to get in front of coaches firsthand and show them what they can do.
Spokesmen for the team say that in addition to being qualified physically, coaches will be looking for guys who will contribute to program culture. As of now, 15 are expected to show up for the tryout. That application is still open, though. Again, tryouts will be held at TC Ching on January 19th at noon. That'll do it for us here at Midday. Don't forget to tune in to KITV4 Island News at 5, 6, and 10. Reported on today, head to our website, KITV.